All right, all right. Feeling these vibes, feeling these vibes. We are live. We are live. Welcome to all the future comers looking ahead of the future. For our YouTubers, our Twitchers, our TikTokers, wherever you come from, welcome, welcome. We getting straight to it today. We got some hot topics today. We got Kyle Rittenhouse, Bombshell story. We got my man, King of the Castle, King Biden, dropping down some mandates. We got the FJB, aka Let's Go Brandon on deck. I'll leave it at that. Stay tuned because we got a whole lineup today for you of different topics, different conversations, and just that political talk we get into every single day, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Baby, we are here. We have arrived, yo. Happy Tuesday today.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, brother.
Happy Tuesday. We're ready to have somebody on the chat. What's going on, Timothy?
What up? What up? You got a treat. You in for a treat today. We excited about today's
He said episode. He came from TikTok. Welcome.
Ooh, welcome, my brother.
Hello, and welcome. This is Macho That Savory, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. That's right. This is Drinks with a Nobody. Be sure to follow us on Twitch at MachoFix at 88 and at Savory_edition. We also have our Twitter. You can find us there with our same handles. Hey, Savory, how's TikTok?
TikTok, we are moving and booming. We having fun. We got a TikTok community coming in early. Timothy, we appreciate you, brother. Stay tuned. We got a hot topic today, baby.
We also have our Instagram that we're building up as well. For the future, we want to take pictures, put up little short clips there. We want to build our Instagram community as well. We also have a Discord in case you want to have conversations, debate with other people. Put them on there. Put them onto the Discord. We want to keep the conversation going, even if we're not here. And in case you miss any of our previous broadcasts, go on the YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody. Hit subscribe, click that notification bell so when we go live, you know it and you never miss a thing. Hey, Savory, why do we even want an audience in the first place? What kind of audience do we even want?
That's a good question. Let me tell you, if you're here, that means I don't know where you are politically. I don't know what you think culturally. I don't even know what's your relationship with people with these kind of controversial, quote unquote, topics. But listen, if you got thoughts, ideas that you're afraid to let out, if you got things you haven't really fleshed out with people, this is your channel right here. We talk about everything. We talk about anything, any time of the day, usually Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. But I digress. We are here to really talk about all these kind of topics, to pull people into our world and kind of at the same time, learn from you guys. So again, if that's you, you're willing to talk about stuff, you're willing to flesh these things out, you're not shying away from these hard topics, this is your channel, Drinks with a Nobody. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
That's right. And please do not do that. And do not do this without a drink.
Oh, how can we forget?
What's your drink?
Cheers. I got some white wine today.
I got Mr. Baritone. I got my coffee today. For those who are tuning in, I am a night worker. I am a vampire by trade. I work when you go to sleep. So I need my coffee right now. This is my morning. So,
ladies and gentlemen, get that drink. Cheers with us every single day. It could be water, by the way. We don't care.
Right. Anything you want, just go in that fridge. If you don't have it, bring it out. Sit back in front of your screen. Sit back, relax, and prepare to engage.
Timothy got water. I feel you. I had water yesterday, right? Yeah, that's what I had yesterday. We out here. Cheers to the water. Yo, we are coming in hot today, I'm telling you. We're going straight to the Kyle Rittenhouse case.
Mm-hmm.
I call this the Kyle Ritten bombshell. Right? And this might be a bit crazy. This trial might be a bit crazy by the time it ends because we know there's dangers to people not hearing the results they want, right? Facts. But nonetheless, hopefully it doesn't get too crazy if it's an innocent verdict. Let's let this play out in the court of law. But now we're about to play this. We're about to discuss this. But this is what I call a bombshell. Why? Because these are the type of things that change your perspective, or should, if you're honest about keeping up with the trial and the facts. But if you already decided, then things like this don't change. But let's check this out.
Let's see.
So this is the guy who was shot by Kyle Rittenhouse and survived, and this is what he had to say.
Re-racking the weapon.
Bring that back, actually. Right there.
After you raised your hands like this, you saw the defendant re-rack the weapon?
Correct.
What did you think was going to happen?
In my experiences and in my inference in that moment, the defendant had pointed his weapon at me and I had put my hands in the air. Re-racking the weapon, in my mind, meant that the defendant pulled the trigger while my hands were, but the gun didn't fire. So then by re-racking the weapon, I inferred that the defendant wasn't accepting my surrender.
Okay.
Did you feel that he was going to point the gun and shoot at you again?
Yes.
This is a key part right here. Listen up, guys. This is a key part, right, of the defense here. He said yes. Now take a look at this.
When you were standing 3 to 5 feet from him with your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, and he fired, right?
Correct.
He just defined what self-defense is. You see what's crazy about this? This is crazy. This, I don't know if they show that clip, but his attorneys literally did this.
Keep playing this. Yeah, keep playing it. I think it does show it. Kyle's. No, they don't, right?
Yeah, I don't think they do.
But his attorney is so dismayed.
Yeah.
They have to show it. Come on. His attorney, his counsel is so upset and dismayed that he like literally put his head in his hands and he was shaking his head as that admission just happened. Literally, like now the defense attorney could literally ask for a motion of acquittal on just the premise of that, on one of the charges.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Timothy
saying?
asks, has there been any evidence that he's a felon? I don't think so, right? From Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't think he has a past record, right? From what I'm understanding. I don't think none of that has come out of him having a possible past record, you know. So, but that's a good question. But here, to his defense, it's actually a great thing he said that, because now you're proving that you point. That's a big deal. When you point to the gun at somebody and he shot you, now we're talking about something serious. When you shoot him back, now it's more like you shot him back rather than you looking for trouble. So, yeah, let's play. That's the final. That's actually that final part there. But
And Savory, I mean, think about it. These people were chasing the man or the young man whom had a gun on him, a rifle. It's not like he had a handgun on him, you didn't see it. And all throughout TikTok, as we were looking around TikTok in the TikTok community, people are on the fence with this. It's a complete split. But what I hear most is, why would you attack somebody who has a firearm on them? What do you think is going to happen? You think it's going to be okay?
You know, you feel empowered when the mob's like, oh, he was talking about not Kyle, but the witness right here. Not sure. That's a good question, actually. That's good to look into. I'm not sure if they would use that against him in this case, since he's not the one, you know, he's just,
He's not
you know,
on
a
trial.
witness to this case. He's not on trial. Exactly. That's what I was looking for. So, but anyways, the point is, I don't know if he has or not, but this, it's crazy when you look at these facts that come out. That's why a lot of these cases need to be played out. Once you play out the details of the cases in court, you actually get a fair trial. Not a perfect trial.
Right.
Judges make mistakes and all that, but people don't let these kind of things play out. So every time you see somebody get shot on the street, let's let it play out. Because look what we just found out here. Is this not important to people who think that Kyle Rittenhouse should go to jail? This is not important to you now. You see, all the details matter, man. But yeah, so that's a pretty big deal there, I would say. And yeah, it just shows a lot in that small detail that it's not as straightforward as we like to think.
No case is.
No case. Macho, take us. I know yesterday we didn't get to this topic, man, but we wanted to
topic was
talk
that?
about the nurse strike.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I would love to see something on the nurse strike to better help the people and ourselves understand more. I haven't seen this clip you're gonna play, but I'm very curious to get my natural reaction to see what's really going on. Let's play that right there.
We have to do what we need to do to protect the future of healthcare.
Gemma Frula is a registered nurse and union steward at Kaiser's Zion Medical Center near Allied Gardens. She's worked at Kaiser for 21 years and says employees have not been able to negotiate a new fair contract.
We're not going to be able to attract or retain good, skilled nurses with a low wage range.
A few weeks ago, more than 20,000 Southern California healthcare workers voted to strike, and now plans are to walk out on the 15th of November if they cannot make a deal. The scene could be similar to late 2019 when Kaiser's mental health workers went on strike.
The strike is a last resort. They did come forward with 1% initially, but which was a slap in the face, given what we've been through, the pandemic.
In their latest proposal, Kaiser says they're offering up to 4% pay increases over the next few years with no changes in benefits. The union says in reality, the offer falls short of that. Another point of contention.
And around the country, they want to strike and they're planning to strike. We're talking about thousands. It could be upwards up to 60,000 people across the country.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Again,
what do you think of that? It's our healthcare system.
Yeah, the playing field has intensified when you want to initiate these kinds of mandates. Yeah. You want to initiate vaccines. You want to mandate for all these things. And think of all the things that these nurses had to deal with in the past year. They didn't have enough PPEs. They didn't have enough things to protect them from dealing with COVID. And now you're initiating these mandates. And now these nurses are like, okay, pay up.
You think the administration has crossed that line that's really united people?
I think so. Timothy said that 4% is garbage for a pay raise. I agree. I mean, it depends on what their base salary is. Like if their base salary is like $70K, 4% might be okay. If it's $90K, 4% might be reasonable.
4% split it. Yeah, it's just I'm sure they want more than that, but yeah.
Of course, and again, dealing with in retrospect to what they have been dealing with in the past year, especially from transitioning from one administration to the next, and dealing with certain kind of mandates that now have intensified to even now. And by the way, just as a side note, when you say that you were asking where was there a bill or an executive order from the Biden administration, you know how he did it? He did it through the Department of OSHA.
Yeah, I was reading on that.
He mobilized OSHA.
I saw the name, so that's how he did it. Okay, so he mobilized them to apply supposedly the health expectations, right? Since they already do that. Correct. He put it through them to it, which is a strategic move. Actually, that kind of stuff. Obama
and the Supreme Court voted a stay on that, meaning to stop, to not even initiate that kind of mandates for businesses or even places like hospitals to have to submit.
OSHA. In terms, it seems like he weaponized OSHA from what I'm understanding, because like I said, he didn't sign an executive order, but he weaponized OSHA, who has the what's the word I'm looking for? Has the right to really enforce.
We're talking about hundreds of thousands or $10,000 per 100 employee. This is 20,000, 40,000 people in just Kaiser alone. I mean, there's a lot of folks in it. Again, when you do these kinds of things, do you understand the ripple effect? Now nurses are planning to strike because they're saying, if you want us to submit to these demands, pay me more. How about that? Pay me more.
So hold up. Are they protesting? And then we'll keep playing it after this. Are they protesting they want to pay a raise, but are they protesting the vaccine too?
I think, yes, they are protesting that. But I think what they want to cover so that there's a massive panic or a mass hysteria from what I'm reading in the articles is that they are actually standing up against some of these mandates.
Okay, got it.
While also asking for a higher pay raise. So Supreme Court did rule in favor of the workers to not have this kind of egregious overreach of power. And the Biden administration pushed back and said, well, it's not happening now, so you can't orchestrate a stay on an order that isn't in effect until January. Well, guess what? When the Supreme Court already ruled on it, you can't go forward.
Got it. Perfect.
That's what they're upset
gotta
about.
love the system. Gotta love the system. All right, yeah, let's keep playing this.
Is a proposal to pay new nurses less than existing ones. The union calls it a two-tier pay system and says it would be detrimental.
A two-tier system is a definite divisor. We want, as a union, we want to stay in solidarity. We want to be united. We want the same pay for the same work.
There's also a national shortage of healthcare workers, and Frula says this current proposal would only make that worse. In a statement, Kaiser says the challenge they are trying to address with the unions is the increasingly unaffordable cost of healthcare, adding that wages and benefits account for half of all operational costs. The healthcare giant also says some employees are making well above market rate. An agreement could be made before the planned strike on the 15th. Kaiser officials say if a walkout does happen, they will have managers and contingency staff ready to continue patient care.
You would also have the National Guard, probably.
Man, always finding ways to have the people's voice not really mean much. You see, like they always try to prepare, which is why I wonder, is it a good idea? Is it a good idea to just plan it and announce it, or just spontaneously, or keep it under the wraps for everybody? Because that would be lethal for the industry. That's the way I've been thinking, because these people are, so. But it's good because you announce, a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, if you're gonna force people to live under this tyrannical rule, guess what? They're gonna come back at you. Pay me more. Because what the people are essentially showing is that you do not have ultimate power here. You do not get to dictate how I live my life. I get the jab, and then if I get the jab and I get no retribution for it, all right? These people are not trying to quit their job. They're trying to put their money where their mouth is and saying, pay me more, give me better work environment, do all these kinds of things if you're going to initiate these kind of mandates. And again, the Biden administration is going to have to back down when this big union is going to be talking in his ear. Like, listen, we can't live up to these things. This is ridiculous, and it's going to bankrupt us. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. And, this makes me think about what are the effects this is having on the country and the presidency, right? Because this directly reminds me of, man, what's up with the administration in office right now, right? Where are the approval ratings going? Where are the, the sentiments on vaccination? Where is all that going, right? I want to show a quick chart on the vaccination rates. I mean, the approval rating. Let me pull that up here.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Bam. So this is just a quick chart, right? We got the approval rating. Biden was in mid-50s, going down to, by the way, this happens to a lot of presidents. The problem is usually it's on an issue that people think you can easily recover from. The problem with what's happening with Biden now, and then taking the Virginia elections and Jersey elections into play, it just feels like it's a tide the other direction. That's what people are worried about, right? So you have the disapproval rating going up. He was in about, high 30s, went up. High 30s went up to 49.2%. Right. So these are numbers that are moving. Like, this is a serious thing. But again, it's all about, this is what I'm learning about this. You connecting it to the issue that's relevant. All right. So if it's an issue, if your approval rating has gone down for a certain issue that you can pinpoint, you can actually fix it. It just seems like too much going on in this administration. I don't know how they recover for something like this, right? And let me play this.
Well, they will recover when they'll give something free away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to highlight here a comment from Timothy. If they mandate shots, I know lots of truckers that will shut down. And we already have a shortage on those on transportation in this country already. So can you imagine if they mandate them to get shots and all those truckers go on strike and say, we're not taking a shot? We're not having a Christmas. We're not having a food supplies. We're going to have a complete famine.
Yeah. And best believe that's already happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, so it's like, it's just about you exasperating that.
Here, I want to make this point here. What our current society doesn't understand is that our country is dramatically split 50-50. 50 went for Trump, 50 went for Biden. Okay? So when you
Yeah.
have, yeah, when you have a split country like that, where I'm getting at here is when you have a split country like that and you're talking shit about the other side, you fail to realize that the other side had the Truckers for Trump movement. You fail to remember all of that stuff. So when you're shitting on that side, when you don't want to recognize the integrity of the election, when you want to play these kind of games, folks, where I'm getting at here is people start to revolt and they do it in different ways where truckers know now all of a sudden they're not picking up the extra shift. All of a sudden they're not picking up these containers. All of a sudden they're not they're sick. They don't want to show up to work. And now you have lines waiting to pick up these containers. And what happens is you don't get your products. So we have to work with each other. I'm going to give you guys an example really quickly. I know this may be a little bit deep, but when Rainey, he was a black Republican in the 1860s or 70s or so, 1890, I think it was, first black Republican congressman who was demanding actually that President Ulysses S. Grant do something about the KKK and literally put all the former Confederates in jail. He really wanted to go that extreme. The problem was that's half your country. Okay. And Ulysses S. Grant had to play the thin line of, and anyone knows who President Grant was. You know that he was not the guy who was a racist. He didn't own slaves. He was not that kind of guy. And he's not your original or regular kind of Republican. He was part of the Whig Party. There was a Whig Party at the time. They were a red party as well. But where I'm getting at here is that he was telling the congressman from North Carolina, Rainey, that we need to slow our horses here. We need to relax here because if we demonize this side, we're back at a civil war again. So let's just hold our horses here. What I can do is I can write the anti-KKK bill, initiate an executive order. Anyone practicing white supremacy, anyone practicing such a thing as that, I'm going to mobilize the National Guard. I'm going to make sure that they go to jail, and I'm going to make sure they pay for it. That's why the first wave, or the biggest wave, in my opinion, of the KKK was demolished, folks. The KKK that was initially moving was huge. They were ferocious. They were terrible. They were demons. Okay, they were terrorizing black people in this country, especially white people who were in cahoots with black people in this country. Okay, it's particularly the South. So President Grant mobilized the National Guard to arrest any people founding to be practicing any of the sorts of the KKK. If you were called a grandmaster, you'll be put in jail. And that kind of threat, that kind of harsh penalty on crime there really demolished the KKK. And if they went in hiding, they went in hiding. Guess what? They weren't terrorizing the black community. So there was some middle ground there is what I'm trying to say here is we cannot shit on one side so much and to think that there are not people on the other side there. You have Truckers for Trump. That was a huge movement. That was a major movement in this country, folks. Trucker, I don't know if Timothy, I don't know if you're a trucker, but we're talking about, I think, thousands and perhaps maybe almost 1 million people in that network of the trucking community that were for Trump, and you don't even want to give them the decency of some form of to validate the integrity of the election, or you want to shit on them in the mainstream media and call them deplorable white supremacists. I mean, what do you expect is going to happen? A revolt will happen, and they're going to turn around, and then they're going to freaking go, okay, I'm sick, like I just said previously. I can't pick up an extra shift. I can't do the extra work that you're demanding me to do. And these are the kind of things, folks, that cause these kinds of rifts, that cause these kind of problems. So I'm reading here some of your text messages here, Timothy. Yep, it was the biggest topic with drivers during the safety meeting, and majority said they would quit. And in retrospect to the mandates, yes, I hear you. KKK white supremacy is on the terrorist list. Facts. You cannot be out here. That's why you have other groups, Aryan Brotherhood, whatever. And again, they operate in a different form of fashion, right? You have the Aryan Brotherhood, you have other gangs or anything like that. That I wouldn't classify as a white supremacist in the fashion in which what we're talking about. Can they be? Are they somewhat of a white supremacist group? Sure, but they operate differently. They don't want to persuade or motivate our elections. They're not trying to terrorize black communities. In fact, they work with other gangs that are black and they do businesses, they do business deals or whatnot. Let me address the other. Yeah, and again, they're on a terrorist list. KKK is on a terror list. White supremacy, anything of that sort, on a terrorist list. And again, thanks to Ulysses S. Grant, who was a Republican, and he was not your normal Republican. He was part of the Whig Party. And if you guys want to verify that, check out his history stats. Look at his key moments in his presidency. You'll be astonished by some of the things Ulysses S. Grant was not only able to accomplish during the Civil War, but you'll be astonished what he was able to accomplish during his presidency. Yes, you are a trucker, and there are thousands. Exactly.
Oh wow.
We cannot be shitting on them and thinking, "Hey, screw you, screw your president," and think all our products are going to be coming with white gloves. Now, listen, do I think that is an appropriate form of act? No, but I understand the revolt, and I think that these folks need to stand up and say, "Hey, we understand that Biden is the president, but do you have to shit on us who voted for Trump? Do you have to call us deplorables? Do you have to call us dumb dimwits, backwater, racist, white supremacist, misogynistic, xenophobic, ventriloquists, as Michael Dyson likes to eloquently use these big words? Yeah, it's different now. Just like black gangs in the 90s, black gangs use color bang, but now it's not about that. Right? It's about commerce now. These gangs are using things like business or trades or things of that sort to build their business, to build their brotherhood. So they're willing to work with other ethnicities and other cultures and stuff like that. So I just had to take the reins there for a bit. I'm sorry, Savory.
No, that was great. That was great. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, back to the approval where we was going, but thank you for that filler there. It seems like very engaging, important stuff there. I appreciate it. So,
and thank you, Timothy, for engaging with me. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, that was great. So, Biden flop here. So they're gonna give you a quick synopsis of his approval rating, what's been going on, what we've been seeing, and these are important things to track because it shows where the sentiment of the country is moving, right? Not all polls. I'm skeptical of many polls, but let's check this out. You have you're
I'm sharing the wrong screen here.
let's go.
Sorry
Here we
about
go.
that.
And I think there is no more revealing one than this. So let's put this up there on the screen. This is USA Today, Suffolk University poll, which is that nearly 2/3 of Americans, 64%, said they did not want Biden to run for a second term in 2024. That included 28% of Democrats, so more than a quarter. And that opposition to Trump running for another term was also nearly as high at
50%. This is serious right here, right? Because these are, and remember, last week, we discussed a poll that's connected to the Democratic Party. They polled a lot of Democrats. You see, so those are things where it's like you got to realize who they're polling, how they're doing. That's why I'm personally skeptical about polls. So I don't put all my bets on this.
Yeah, why are we're not supposed to be skeptical about polls in this country? Why are we so skeptical today?
I think it comes down to the media bias, right? So if you're polling, and it comes down also to the 2016 presidential election.
Yeah.
Where they were so off with, what's the percentage? 88 to 92 Clinton. to 8% Trump, stuff like that is, how are you that off, right? I don't expect polls to be perfect, but that showed the world that the bias is in full display. So it's just
and to be honest, to be fair, they're probably sharing a one-sided, honest poll, but they're not sharing the other side that wanted to vote for Trump. Why? Because they wanted to show this image that no one wants to back this candidate, that this candidate is going to implode because when he sees these polls, he's going to feel like, all right, I'm done. Let me pack up. No one wants to me anyways. So let me just concede early. No, it doesn't work that way because, again, they're going to get their numbers. They have their campaign manager that's going to report to them honest polls, honest figures. And again, this is why did our polling become so political? It's so frustrating today.
Yeah.
Savory.
You can no longer have a fair. But let me keep playing some of this so people can kind of see some details behind this.
Gotcha.
58%. That included 24% of Republicans, so AKA about a quarter. I think that just crystallizes everything. The problem with our politics, which is we had two options, neither of whom a lot of people really wanted. People felt trapped, largely, in reference to their cultural positions. And so they had to go out and vote in order to vote against the other guy. But when you look at that amount of negative and partisanship, that is not the place for a healthy democracy. And Biden, in particular, since he's the president and he's going to bear the brunt of the national mood, and frankly, he should, is really showing people, for a lot of those who showed up to vote for him, even though they kind of
check this out, watch,
that, holding their nose was the right decision. So let's put this up there on the screen, which is that nearly half of those surveyed, 46%, said that Biden has done a worse job as president than they expected, including 16% of those who voted for him. And independents, by a 7-1 margin, have said.
I'm sorry, Savory. I got a question. What was exactly the expectation of the Biden administration? Just curious.
Well, you wanted something better than Trump. I'll start with that. Which, from a policy perspective, leadership perspective, you didn't get that, right? And again, I'm not talking about whether you're conservative, liberal. Many liberals will still be in denial and disagree. But
of course, I get that. I get you want something better than Trump, but I'm talking about expectations specifically tailored to Biden. What was the expectation?
Normality. Bring back normal.
Bring back normality.
That was the expectation.
Political rhetoric. Okay, got it.
Obviously, he brought back nothing but normal. COVID deaths going up, more mandates, it's been crazy. And then look at this. Number I want people to pay attention to here, 7-1. So independents, remember, decide a lot of elections. These are the people that truly vote both ways. But look at this. This is big.
Worst job, not better than they expected. So that almost is the worst one, Crystal. Partisan Republicans are always going to hate Biden. Democrats generally going to stick with their guy. He's still got 84% there saying he's doing a better job. But amongst the independents, they have a 7-1 ratio in terms of those who say you're doing worse than doing better. That is a total disaster. And it just reflects the mood of the country about how things are not working the way they should. Nothing is happening here in Washington.
So that's really the heart of that. Like, you think about the polls, what's happening in our country. And for me, what am I connecting this to? Well, I'm making a big deal of it, not because Trump's polls didn't go down. They went down. Obama's polls go down when you're first president. But the issue at hand, it's a lot of issues together. They usually go down because of the main issue. But how do you fight against everything that's going on? Trump as a leader and policies was great, but his Twitter BS and some of the things he said was the problem. The best thing he could have done was shut up and do his job. Yeah. But would you agree that without Twitter, Trump would have never won the election? You see where it gets tricky? So how do you use Twitter now? If you know without Twitter, you probably wouldn't have won. I don't think he would have won without Twitter personally.
Yeah, I mean, he had 80 some odd million people following him on Twitter.
Yeah, so every time
that was tweets, like his direct line. That was his direct line to his
exactly. So
constituency.
That's why it gets tricky, because it's like
I actually agree with Timothy here because again, what Trump was doing was something very unprecedented. Okay, you're talking very candidly. At least it appears that way, that you're talking very candidly. And this is what paved the way for people to have that expectation you just mentioned. And that is, we want to return to normacy. What normacy? The kind of
Mhm.
presidency we used to have. The never getting an answer, going around in circles, very, very like party based or party biased language. Too much of anything is bad. He needed a balance. I agree. I think there
Yeah,
needed to
I should
be.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I personally don't think the balance on the Twitter end. I just feel like that was part of him breaking the political norm that people weren't
yeah.
used to, and I'm okay with him using Twitter if most media outlets are misrepresenting you. So it's
And
like,
then they ban him. And then they
yeah,
ban him.
so it's like
That's
they banned him
terrible.
for a reason too. But I understand where Timothy comes from as well, and other people, because they are saying like, hey, but that might have cost him because he did have some bad tweets that really send him the wrong direction at times. But at the end
Agreed.
of the day,
Yeah.
it's like how else was he going to communicate effectively? I think Twitter was it, which is why they
But
banned him,
I
because they
think
know he
this
was going to be
all
an active voice.
I also think that this all goes back to not looking at our political leaders as saviors, right?
Yeah,
Every one of these
what I
people,
always say too. Yep.
Biden included. Me and Savory don't hate Biden. We actually feel sorry for, like, we feel bad for him because he might be mentally cognitively
Mhm.
he might be ill. Like he might have some issues, and he might need to address that. And again, if he, I feel like it's all good. You're the president, but I'm just worried that you're not mentally fit for the job. And I think
Yeah,
a lot of Americans are. And the other point to Trump is, this is also, Timothy, this is also why I don't want Trump to run for 2024, despite the fact that I want a strong Republican candidate. I don't want Trump to run because I don't want the language flames. I don't want this whole rhetoric and
yeah,
virtual
but
signaling and
who else, right? We got DeSantis, but outside of that, like, he's the most popular in that's just the reality. I tell people. So
yeah,
look
yeah.
how many votes he got. Remember, Obama ran for re-election, right? And he
He
got
could
less
pull a
votes.
Bernie. He could
He
pull a
got less
Bernie.
votes than when he first ran, Obama.
Savory.
Trump won for
He can pull a
re-election. He
Bernie.
got more votes than the first time he ran. That means he was more popular second time. That wasn't the case for Obama. He actually got less votes the second time. He happened
Correct.
to still win.
Yeah.
So it's like, what happens is he went against a beast of Joe Biden. Other than that,
How dare you? How dare you say
I'm just
something
saying,
like that?
81 million was like unexpected. It was almost like you have
The
a great
highest
game.
vote in history. Like, that's
It's like you're a great shooter, but you happen to be playing against Steph Curry. But you went 9 for 10. Curry just went 10 for 10. It's not your fault though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just don't understand. Look, he can pull a Bernie, was what I was trying to say here, Savory. He can pull a Bernie, run for re-election, right?
he's
And
not
then
wrong.
boom, back out and then support a candidate with all the following that he already has. Bernie does this every time. That's why he gives millions and millions. You think most people who voted for Biden not only did not want Trump in office, but also supported Bernie. He has millions and millions of people who support him. So when you endorse a candidate like Joe Biden on Bernie's end, that was strategic. That was smart.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And man, he is, let me say this. He's governing like he has 4 years only. All right. My conclusion is the reason he's doing all these extreme stuff is
You're sneaky,
he's
Savory.
really running like he has 4 years in office. That's how Biden's running. Biden right now with these mandates on, my only conclusion is he knows he's gone in the next 3 years, so he's running it like a king. So check this out.
Okay,
And I'll just read this. White House says calling vaccine mandate a mandate is misinformation. Y'all heard me correctly?
Uh-oh.
So White House press secretary
Prepared
says
to be
it's
banned.
misinformation to call a mandate because it's not really a mandate. What do they call it?
Prepared to be banned, Savory. Prepared to be banned.
Yeah, brace ourselves. You know what she calls it? A
What's she called it?
vaccine requirement. It's not a mandate though. It's a vaccine requirement. If comedy hasn't reached its heights, then we are in it. This is crazy. This language is used to continue to let people know everything's okay. No, it's not really a mandate. It's just a requirement. You don't have to, you might just lose your job, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not forcing you, but you just can't work here.
I'll tell you one thing.
No. You can eat whatever you want, but not without the vaccine, though. That's your choice to not get. Like this manipulation games are really being played at a high level, and it's really hilarious, to be honest to me. Because it's manipulative. By the way, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's that?
You know what's going on with NASCAR? Can you believe NASCAR has gone woke?
It didn't go woke with your boy. But what was that guy's name? That said he had a noose in his freaking garage.
Yeah, but NASCAR fans, in compared to NBA fans, what percentage you think of NBA fans are left? Give me a number.
Their ratings have gone down. I think the last finals was their lowest.
No.
Ratings
No.
ever.
Wait. But answer my question. What percentage do you think of NBA fans lean left?
Oh, lean left.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll give you a high percentage, like maybe 70%.
Now let's go to NASCAR. What percentage of NASCAR fans you think lean right?
70%.
That's the same where I'm at. My number is 75%. I'm with you, which means these kind of headlines now, NASCAR has done something really interesting to me. You know what that is?
What is that?
Check this. After going woke, NASCAR condemns "Let's Go Brandon" chants, threatens to sue use of slogan with his trademarks. So
now I want to go to a NASCAR event. I want to dead ass just freaking carry this flag.
First of all, you understand. Let's start with this. You can't sue anyone for using "Let's Go Brandon."
Isn't that a violation of free speech?
Bro, no one owns the slogan. So I don't know what they're talking about. No one owns the slogan, "Let's Go Brandon." No one owns that slogan. Right. So there's no way we will pursue. Look what they say right here. Let me highlight this for the people. Right here. See this right here? We will pursue whoever is using logos to get that stuff. That's not okay. It's not okay that you're using our trademarks illegally, regardless of whether we agree with that position is. First of all, your trademark is the logo. Your trademark is not "Let's Go Brandon."
Facts. What are they talking about?
Anyways, they're going after these people, supposedly, for using the "Let's Go Brandon" slogan has become code for F Joe Biden and his comedy. So they're mad. They're being politicized, but it's not "Let's Go Brandon." You can't sue people off using a slogan. People have gone insane. And NASCAR, most of their fan base, how you know the woke culture is taking over. Because we have the NASCAR, whose fans are mostly conservative, talking about the woke culture. What? You're scared now of the mob? Who's paying y'all behind this? I got so many questions now. Who's paying you? Are your advertisers threatening you? Are you? Because it's not your fan base.
China is.
China. Probably China, too. I won't believe if China's in NASCAR. I'm telling you, those people are strategic,
It's China.
But
China.
But like, I don't know. What you think? Do you think NASCAR, what's their move here? Why are they doing this with the
I'll tell you what their move is. Their move is to tank the business. That's what they're gonna do, because you're not gonna stop these viewers from doing what they want to do, because NASCAR has been historically a right-leaning sport. Period. That's just how it is. It's always been that way. You're not going to change that. Sorry. Oh, I want to get a shirt.
Look at this wave. Look at this "Let's Go Brandon" wave.
Yo, order me a shirt. Order me a shirt, bro.
Yo, look at this wave. Yo.
I'll take it in 3X. I'll take it in 3X.
Yo, this is the worst press that any president can ever get that I've seen in my lifetime. This has gone so big that look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Everybody, there's millions of people chanting this now. You know what it really means.
Wait, you didn't think the "Not My President" was bigger than FJB?
Nah, because remember, "Not My President" was almost like a movement that kind of didn't organically grow. It was just the people who hate him just said "Not My President." This is organically through the mainstream media.
They're making T-shirts.
Yeah, it's different. Crazy. So there's actually people who are like, with reason and with comedy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
It's just out of control, bro.
You know, I have another real interesting story. I found this really interesting. I don't know if people would find this interesting, but this is incredible, right? Pete Buttigieg. Am I saying it right?
Buttigieg. Yeah, Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
So this man has an interesting story.
I have a clip here of Mr. Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, you have that too? All right. So you want to play that before or after mine?
I'm okay with either or. I don't care.
You can play that. You can play that afterwards, and we'll end with the Biden.
I'll take the back burner, Savvy. I'll take the back burner.
This is a documentary being created on him, right? And they're discussing how this man has been playing a character his whole life. So I named this quick clip right here. Who is he? Like, who is this guy? This was so interesting to me. Check this out for your entertainment only. Bam.
Him here.
All right.
What do we got here?
That quote comes from when there were questions and he was expecting to receive questions about racial tensions and the death of a Black man in particular while he was mayor. And she's saying, like, you need to stop acting like a robot because you're coming across like the Tin Man up there. But the documentary, the tension in it effectively comes from the fact that the documentarian can't really get anything out of Pete. Like, there's a whole question with these type of politicians like him of, is there more than meets the eye? Like,
that's the question you should be asking on all politicians. I tell people, is there more than meets the eye? Because it usually is. But let's keep playing this. This guy's interesting right here.
Because he has this very polished and impersonal and distant public persona.
Yeah. You agree with that, by the way?
Say that again?
You agree with her breakdown there of that?
He has what, an elusive persona or
polished and impersonal and distant public persona.
Yes.
You agree with that?
I don't know what to think of the man because I don't really care about him. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. But just from seeing him, I feel like he gives that off what he said. But let's keep going really quick.
I would never vote for him in public office if you ask me then.
With his aides, like, what's he really like? And basically, the answer is there is nothing else. Like, this is what
you played.
So I'm accurate. I'm accurate then. I would never vote for him. I don't have nothing to think about with the guy.
Every way is he's always on. He's always presenting the public persona to the point that his husband, Chasten,
he's gay,
gets
by the way.
Frustrated with
him in the documentary.
Does that matter?
Yeah. So at the beginning of this piece, the documentarian,
that's a long conversation.
Jesse Moss is talking to Chasten, and he's saying, you know, what do you think that I should ask Pete? And Chasten says he did everything to climb every ladder without being his authentic self.
That's scary.
You spent so much of your life hiding who you really were. Did you feel like you were able to be your true self on the campaign trail? And the documentarian says, well, do you think he's ready to answer that question? Can he answer that? And Chasten says, he should. You can try. And then Pete walks into the room and Chasten turns to him and says, don't bullshit us, Peter.
In other words, this man seems like he's been playing this is how he came off to me, by the way, which is why I found this so interesting. It seems like he's been playing an entire political character, a persona that's not really him, but he's learning the political game. He seemed to me like that kind of robot every time I see him, to be honest. That's always was my judgment. He seemed like this guy who like trained under Obama and some other people to give you the right talking points, the right demeanor. He's almost scary robotic to me. I've said that before, and this just confirms it.
He's fake news, bro. That's it.
But anyways, what you got for it? You got another Pete for us?
I do.
The construct of how you will deconstruct the racism that was built into the roadways.
I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that
the racism is built into the roadways.
Wait, what?
I want you guys to just. I want to amplify that. We're going to talk about that.
If a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been in New York, was designed too low for it to pass by. I don't think
who educated this man? Who educated? I want people, as you guys watching this, who educated him?
This can't be real. Hold on, go back again.
To lose by
yeah, I'll go back. Let's just entertain this for a second.
Can you give us the construct of how you will deconstruct the racism that was built into the roadways?
I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been,
this is despicable.
in New York, was designed too low for it to pass by. I don't think we have anything to lose.
This is absolutely despicable.
Reality.
A White House press briefing igniting a firestorm of mock.
Will Kane has some thoughts here, so that's why I want to kind of like play this to see Will Kane's response.
After that exchange, Tucker Carlson with this reaction.
It's possible the overpasses that Buttigieg referred to are actually drawbridges manned by.
A lot of people hate Tucker because they say he's like a white nationalist. So look at him, guys. There goes your white nationalist.
There goes white power.
Vigilant bigots with binoculars.
White power,
Here comes
baby.
The Puerto Rican bus. Lower the overpass.
White power is criticizing another white power person.
You may laugh, but in a systemically racist country, it's entirely possible. And we don't know exactly what's happening here, but we agree with Pete Buttigieg 100% that it's morally wrong. It's not who we are. So thank heaven he's got $1 trillion to get to the bottom of the racist road.
A healthy mouth is the gateway to.
Thank God he passed the.
Oh my God! I want to be able to pass through that ad there and then kind of get Will Kane's reaction. But what do you think so far?
Yo, hold up. Yeah, I'm happy I didn't see that clip because right now I'm confused. Like, how do you go? Look. They've gone so far with the racism card that they see it everywhere. They get
racism is okay. I kind of want to give a little bit of. Can I give a little bit of synopsis here, just to really quickly? When they were doing the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot commission, this was like freaking almost 100 years later. Mm-hmm. Don't even ask, Savory. Okay, they realized that there was certain kinds of things they did in Oklahoma to divide the white and the black neighborhood. And they used the highway, they used the underpass. This smells like that commission. I promise you, this smells like that commission.
Wow.
So again, you're generalizing the entire country for one area's decision that both sides agreed to. Well, first off, why are you talking about it? Why are you talking about it from a white person's perspective? That is stupidity at its finest. A wise person is willing to look at things from all perspectives.
You living down that shield that your party stands on, racism. So if you can't back anything up with that, you dug a hole too deep.
But my whole thing is, Savory, you're voted into public office. It's not you're running by party lines. You're in office. Be honest. Be straightforward. Stop being facetious. Stop lying just to fit your agenda. This is BS. And it's like, as Sheriff Clark would say, it's pie in the sky and you know it. Mm-hmm. Folks, the agreement between the folks who lived in these segregated neighborhoods, it was a mutual agreement. Was it egregious to force segregation on society? Absolutely. But there were instances in this country where it was mutually agreed upon. It's like, yeah, you stay over there. You say, why? For the interest in safety. It was about safety. The world wasn't ready for multiculturalism, and America was embarking on that. Multiculturalism it's very tense. If you don't believe me, look at the Malayas, people of Malaya, in Malaysia, where you have Chinese people there and you have Malaysians there. They look pretty similar, but they're different. Mm-hmm. And yet there's segregation there all over. You have different subsects in China. over just religious belief. They look exactly the same, but they separate themselves.
Yeah.
You have Middle Eastern people
point,
who separate themselves. Folks, multiculturalism is
That's natural.
extremely tense. It's extremely tense. And
Culture's
America was
developing.
embarking on that.
Yeah.
But I wanna dive into Will Kane's
Let's keep
reaction
seeing
here.
that.
Chris, your take.
So, Harris, I hope you give me just a little bit of runway here, because I think this is actually more complicated than social media snark and mockery can hope to ever get their arms around. And what I will say is this: of course, inanimate objects cannot be racist. And as Tucker pointed out, it's laughable to suggest that they are. But as unpopular as this may be, there's a hint, there's a kernel of truth in what Mayor Pete and the activist April Ryan had to say. And that is, when much of the highway system was built, it's true that some of it was built upon eminent domain of poor neighborhoods, poor black or brown neighborhoods. That is a truth. But then the question becomes, what do you do about that truth? Because what I would suggest is this, and this is the important part. If you truly care about racial equality in this country, tearing down an overpass wouldn't be in the top 20 things you would hope to accomplish. And in fact, it might be among the bottom 20 things.
So again, society feels, I want to address two things. Society feels the pressure that a white man has to acknowledge that the very structure was in fact racist. Folks, just because you're white, you don't have to acknowledge. You don't have to acknowledge the severity or the racist of the overpass, of the highway. This is stupid.
Yeah, this is stupid. Waste of time.
And this is why I call Fox liberal media. Savory, now you get it? Now you understand what I'm saying?
This is a waste of time, man.
Exactly. Again,
like,
folks.
Who the heck? Like, you see me right now? You see me right now? Who wants to talk about this? Like, is this a problem, bro?
And the other part that I agree with here with Will Kane is this is not on the top 20 of any kind of. Yeah,
not on the top 20.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah,
a poor person in this country is rich in any other country. Period. So stop, folks.
Let that sit in there. Yeah. So I got a clip. This is very interesting. It's going to be our last clip of the night. Stay tuned because this is, I think, pretty interesting. So this is a clip. I believe, by the way, I'm going to say this. I believe Joe Biden sounded presidential here. I believe Joe Biden sounded good, right? And it was a great, moment for him, I feel. But let's look at the hypocrisy. Let's get.
See this speech Biden gave like 15 years ago or 10 years ago? You got to hear what he said on the right way to leave Afghanistan. Okay. Stop.
Okay, stop. Okay, go.
Xavier, I like how I just want to say I like how in real time that they're kind of working through it. They're fleshing through the show. It shows the organicness of it, and that's what we do here. As well.
I love it. But you guys got to see this thing.
What is going on here, Kai?
Okay, go back to
while they're working on this.
This is going to be great. Watch.
You need some victories in order to win the crowd. You talked about winning the crowd. You talked about Gladiator. Biden needs some victories.
Click
he
on
hasn't
media.
had many.
Click on media. Go to the top and click on media. It's the fast. On the Twitter, go all the way to the top. Go to media right there. Okay. Okay. So then just go down. Keep going down until you get to the video. Go. It's going to come up. Here's what Biden said about the right way to leave Afghanistan.
Check this out.
10 years ago. Make it bigger.
About what our options are.
Listen.
If tomorrow the order goes out from the I'm president of the United States.
20 years ago. 15 years ago.
War today, begin to withdraw all American troops. It will take a year to get the American troops out. You hear me now? That's the truth. It will take a year to get them physically out. Now, if you leave all the equipment behind, you might be able to do it in 7 months. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday.
Pause
it makes a big difference. To
Adam, what do you think about that? Do you agree with them?
This didn't age well, is what you're saying.
Yo, you hear that, bro? He
Oh
just
my
gave up.
God.
That's 15 years ago. He said, if you leave the weapons behind, those same weapons can be used against you and your grandchildren. This is what politics is about. Politics is about victories of virtue signaling. Politics is about nonsensical statements that make sense to a core people that are voting for you. And they continue to do this. He just did the complete opposite of what he preached 15 years ago, where he sounded more eloquent, in my opinion, sounded more cohesive with his sentences and all that. Made sense. He was clear, good eye contact. He was on. He was a politician. But look what he said. And he did the complete opposite. Left the weapons behind. He was a sloppy withdrawal. And he said it will take months, even if you do it good. And now he's saying it's going to take, he didn't know they were going to take over. So all these lies in between politicians' lips when they spew this kind of rhetoric is where you and I have to read between, because this is total BS. My man did the complete opposite and he knew better. I don't want to hear that he didn't know better. It's just, this makes me question, is this a strategic move to slowly destroy America, or are you just not there in the brain? One or the other. It has to be one or the other.
And as we're coming to a close here, I just want to get a little personal here. These specific topics on racism, on politics, about culture, can somewhat divide us, and also, in some sense, could unify us. But we shouldn't be scared of those two opposing options, right? Division and unity. Because what divides us today may unify us tomorrow. So be patient with folks out there. It takes time to communicate some of these ideas, to communicate some of this kind of criticism. And here at Drinks with a Nobody, we want to talk about all those things. We want a lane to just have the communication, the conversation, to look at things a bit more critical. We here at Drinks with a Nobody, we do not look at politicians as our saviors. Neither do we look at celebrities as our saviors. Neither do we look at CEOs as our saviors. No one is our savior here, folks, other than our spiritual belief. We're talking about any human person that walks this earth is not our savior. And so I'm not going to vote that way. I'm not going to vote in favor of one bill over the other because I feel it's going to save our country. I think our country has gotten so polarized that now every election is life or death. It's either we vote for life or we vote for death, or we vote for good or we vote for evil. Oh, I mean, I want to look at the trade-offs. I want to look at the pros and the cons. I want lower gas prices. I want lower taxes. I want lower interest rates on homes. I want a free-flowing economy. I want smaller government. And what does that sound like to you guys? Does that sound like a backwater, racist, white supremacist ideology? Can we look past that and see the practicality in that? Lower taxes means more money in my pocket. Less money do I have to pay at the pump? And I get to maintain and take care of my family? My wife doesn't have to work so hard? My husband doesn't have to work so hard? We can have more time with family? I mean, these are practical things that we can think about. And furthermore, if I have more money in my pocket, I have more money to give if someone is in need. But if the government is taking it from us, folks, we don't know where it's going. There's no accountability. But here at Drinks with a Nobody, we want to criticize based on that accountability.
Can I say amen to that?
Amen. So be sure to follow us on Twitch at MachoFix88 and at Savory_. And that's for all our platforms here. We're building all of our platforms. We're building TikTok. We're building our Twitter feed. We're building our Twitch. We're building our Instagram. Instagram is at Drinks with a Nobody. We have our Discord, Drinks with a Nobody. And in case you missed this broadcast or any broadcast beforehand, type in Drinks with a Nobody on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell. So when we go live, you know it. And folks, this show may be ending, but at Drinks with a Nobody, we don't believe in any last calls. So cheers Until tomorrow, keep the conversation going.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Later.